Welcome everyone to my top 5 Beat Saber tips that actually work. I have an absurd amount of hours in this game, but I love it and I cannot wait to share my top 5 tips that made me a better player, and hopefully they'll help you. Welcome back. I tell you, I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. So many of my friends have gotten into VR gaming and Beat Saber since I've been doing this, and they all have the same questions. Do you have any tips? Do you have anything that can help us? And I always answer, absolutely. I've learned a couple of things that can kind of accelerate your learning curve, and that's what I'm here today to do, is to give everyone kind of my top 5 tips from my point of view as just someone who enjoys the game. I'm nowhere even close to a pro player, but I have a lot of fun streaming it, and I have a lot of hours in the game. So we'll start with number 5. Number 5, the grip. The grip on your controller is extremely important, and I know what you're thinking. There's all these different systems, so there's all these different grips. How can you possibly show me a tip that can help me in the system that I have? Because I am going to show you how you can test whether your grip is giving you the maximum, reach as quick as possible, or at least how I do it. So these are valve index knuckle controllers, and you can see the way that they want me to hold them is like this. This is the way the finger tracking and the valve index controllers naturally fit in your hand. Watch this though. I'm going to hold it up. I'm going to flick my wrist down. You can see with one flick of the wrist the movement. Now, as I've experimented with grips, including taking and trying to get my hand all the way up here, as some people have suggested, you can see that that same grip does get me a little bit more movement, and the movement I'm looking for is that downward movement. So once again, standard grip, you can see it's still got like a point angle up. If I do this where I grab it way up here, I can get a little bit further down, but it's super uncomfortable for me. You can see I'm having to grip the controller way up here. Really bites into my hands. So what I did is I did the exact opposite. I took and moved my hand completely down to where just the front of my fingers are on the controller. And yes, that means that the guide that keeps it from being flung into the wall is loose. But watch now. Look at that. Same wrist motion, but look how much I can cover. I can cover top to bottom, which means I can hit so many more notes with just a wrist flick. So I encourage you, no matter what system you have, to rinse, repeat what I just did. Start with your normal natural grip. Flick your wrist. See how much movement you get. Play with it. See how, if you move it up high, how much you get. And in my case, as low as I could get it gave me the maximum amount of coverage, which means with just flicking my wrist, I can get a lot of coverage. Number 4. Number 4 sounds like an easy one, but let the notes come to you. Don't play the game like a zombie. That's the thing that I notice most of my friends when they first play the game is they're making these big, giant movements with their hands, and their hands are all over the place. There's a couple of different names for it. The funniest one that I've ever heard it called was called T-Rexing, because if you take into combination what I just showed you with flicking the wrist, and then now we're going to relax our arms, keep our arms bent more towards our center, you can see it kind of looks like this. And that's why they've kind of nicknamed this T-Rexing it. So if you ever find yourself doing these big wingspans, and there may be a need in a map. I mean, I think there's a map, Staying Alive, where, hey, you're discoing it, right? And that's part of it. But you really want to stay elbows bent, wrist relaxed, hands right here. Let the blocks come to you. That way, you're not out here. By the way, when you're out here, you get exhausted really easy. When you relax, right here, let the blocks come to you. It looks effortless. Just relaxing, using our modified grip to just let the blocks come to us. We're not out here reaching. All right, number 3, manage your horizon. I'll give you an example. Your hands will follow your eyes. So if you're looking over here and you're doing a movement, your hands will naturally want to kind of follow your eyes. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. However, in Beat Saber, your eye level needs to be at the horizon level. It doesn't need to be down here looking at these blocks. The reason for that is as you move to faster maps, what's in front of you is too late for you to react. It's already past you. The time it takes for your brain to get to your hands, to give you the signal to cut the block, even if you were to cut it on an Expert Plus map, there's already another block right behind it. Manage your horizon. So, once again, to give you an example, we want our head to have our eye level up and even so that we can pick up those blocks as far down the playing field or as far down the ramp, whichever you want to call it, so that we can give our brains and our hands time enough to react. That is extremely important. You could almost say that the blocks that you're hitting are actually in your peripheral vision right around here because you're actually going to be staring down the ramp. This is a big, big tip, even if you don't feel comfortable with the modified grip. If you don't feel comfortable with T-Rexing it yet, this is the one that is the easiest for you to practice. Keep your head level. Try not to look right here. Manage your horizon. All right, we're going to stay disciplined with our head and try and keep it from moving all over the place so that our eyes and our hands can keep up with the pace of this map. Number 2, if any of you have followed my channel or watched my videos, number 2 is be stubborn. Okay, number 2 is actually use practice mode. But using practice mode means be stubborn. So what we'll do is we'll play through a little bit of the unlimited power here. We'll get to the first drop. We'll flail around a little bit, and then we'll kind of take a look at how to break it down. Okay, so we saw our first cross pattern and we missed it. Now what? We're going to go to the menu. We're going to hit our little cap here. And I'm not going to forward to where that's at, but I'm going to tell you the way to do it, the proper way for me that helped me the most was not just taking this speed and flipping it all the way down to 50%. what I did was I started at 75%. Here's my trigger. Oh, it was those blue and blue. See? So now I've got a reference. Telling me, oh, just use practice mode didn't really help me. I needed to find a way to use practice mode. So I started using those visual cues. Okay, I got confused at the first crossover. But there were 3 blue blocks. And that told me to get ready for a pattern that I knew I could hit. So for me, my biggest tip to you is learn how to use practice mode in a way that teaches you to recognize where your weaknesses are in a pattern. Just telling somebody to go to practice mode and slide it all the way down to 50%, that's not helpful. But finding your starting point, mine's 75%, so that you can pick up visual cues, then that helps you when you go to 100%. My number one tip, I've decided to make my T-Rex tip my number one tip because it's so freaking awesome and it makes such a big difference. And it can give you, in my opinion, a quick shot, an exponential learning curve to how to get faster and play faster maps. And that is, you need to find some plushies and tennis balls, because tennis balls you got to work up to, but I'm going to show you with plushies. And you're going to take these plushies and you're going to stick them under your arms, just like that. And your goal is to not drop them as you play at whatever level you're playing on now. If you're an expert player, play at expert. If you're an expert plus player, play at expert plus, so forth and so on as you move up. I assure you, this is harder than it looks. I challenge you to try it. That is why in the campaign mode, they have, I believe it's campaign mode, they have it to where you want to try and use minimal movements. There's actually a method to that madness. Those minimal movements are also the fastest movements. And this is a way to get you faster in those movements. All right, so we're going to play a map with plushies under our arms on Expert Plus to prove a point. And this, folks, is good quality entertainment. Oh, I'm losing my right arm plushie. Did I make it? Yes! I did it. I played Expert Plus, and I didn't drop any of my plushies, but I'm ready to drop them now. Woo! So, that's fun, but it's a lot harder than it looks. Let me know if you stuck some plushies under your arms or a tennis ball and you were able to get through whatever map level that you're on to prove the point of you want short, quick movements that you can reset to the center line of your body super fast. So not all out here. Those are the tips that have helped me kind of break through different levels where I was stuck over the years and allow me to have a lot of fun in the game. I wish my tips could put you at the top of the leaderboard, but they can't. But they can help you have a ton of fun in the game and allow you to be super cool in front of your friends, right? As you play the game with tennis balls or plushies stuck under your arm. I have an honorable mention. I have an honorable mention tip that is really important because it's the Elsa. It's the let it go. And what I mean by that is my honorable mention tip is if you miss a block, let it go. Don't stress over it. Because you get audible cues in this game over the blocks and the misses, you have a tendency that if you miss a block, it gives you the audible cue, and then you'll turn your head, and next thing you know, 4 or 5 blocks have passed you and you failed the map. So just let it go. If you miss the block, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined with your grip. Stay disciplined with your T-Rex. Stay disciplined with your horizon management. You will be able to finish maps. I promise you. Just put the time in the helmet and don't stress out over not getting a full combo and letting one go. I just played Expert Plus with some squishies under my arms. Had a blast doing it. Hope it was entertaining for you. Hope these tips really help you. They really helped me. Thank you so much for watching.